The inaugural season of the Tampa Bay Sun is presented by Tampa General Hospital. Together, TGH and USF Health form the region's only academic health system, integrating clinical care, teaching and research to deliver the best possible outcomes, including cutting-edge technologies, therapies and treatments. Welcome to Riverfront Stadium, Tampa Bay Sun, hosting DC Power FC. And as we get a look at the standings in this all-important time of the inaugural season, you can see Tampa Bay Sun have clinched their spot in the playoffs. Today, if things go their way with a victory and other results, they can also earn the right to host. For DC Power, they may be eliminated, but showing heart and resilience as they continue to battle out for each other this season. Jessica Charman alongside former Division I soccer player Hayley Sutton. And Hayley, when you look at Tampa Bay Sun, it's impossible to ignore the exciting forward line.
Man, they just score goals every which way across the field. 3 of the league's top goal scorers hail from Tampa Bay, so you know that they've got the firepower across the field. But something also to pay attention to is when they're scoring their goals. A high majority of their goal scoring chances come in the final 15 minutes of competition. That means they are never out of a matchup, Jess.
We'll expect to see plenty of goal sellies today. And those goal sellies have often resulted from finishes from Cecilia Fleur. She is outstanding, a poacher and a talented forward.
Man, things are just clicking for her in this spring set. Of course, in the conversation for both the Golden Boot and Player of the Year. She plays with power, precision, and pace. Open field, in the box, whatever it is, she's looking for the back of the net. That nose for the goal has benefited her this season.
And for DC Power FC, we've talked about it, eliminated, but their form has been brilliant. They've enjoyed playing spoiler, and Phil Nana has got all of these women performing to the best of their ability.
And look at all of these results, Jess. Half of them came on the road. Sometimes when you're out of the competition, that means you got to find something to play for. He says they're playing for pride and playing for one another, and they have really caused quite a fuss for a lot of these teams in the spring season.
Head coach Denise Schulte-Brown of the Tampa Bay Sun has told us she cannot overlook DC Power, and a player they certainly can't afford to overlook is Loza Abera, the all-time leading goal scorer for the Ethiopian international soccer team, is thriving now in Super League.
Just as Fleur has really stepped up for Tampa Bay, Abera has really found her form for this DC side. She's got great composure and awareness in tight situations, and she's scoring goals, 3 in the last 3 matches, someone that Tampa Bay will have to watch out for today.
Well, kickoff is just around the corner from Riverfront Stadium. Can Tampa Bay Sun continue to thrive in their final game of the regular season? Or will DC Power play spoiler again? Lineups and first kick right around the corner. Stick with us.
As one of the nation's best hospitals and academic health systems, Tampa General is one of the nation's best for cancer care, heart and vascular care, and gastroenterology and GI surgery. Plus, we're top 10% in the nation for neurology and neurosurgery, and top 2% in the nation for orthopedic surgery. Tampa General. Other hospitals practice medicine. We define it.
Glenn couldn't have done it without me, and I couldn't have done it without him. He had his strengths, and I had my strengths, and that's how we succeeded.
There's a lot of care and time that goes into it, and a lot of work.
We were people lovers, and people seemed to like us too, so I think that was all part of our success.
It's definitely a work culture that we inherited that GB and Evelyn put into place, and it's our job just to make it better and keep it going and make it more successful.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way.
Focus!
Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power.
Whatever it takes.
Trusted for over 100 years. Tiger Balm's proven herbal blend tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger so that you can rise above pain.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
And get back to living. This is the way of the Tiger.
Welcome back to Riverfront Stadium, where the Tampa Bay Sun is wrapping up their 2024 regular season campaign, taking on DC Power. Lots of amazing things, including a flyover to celebrate that final guaranteed game, as we take a look at Denise Schulte-Brown's starting lineup. And as you can see, plenty of firepower again in that forward line.
We talked about it in the pregame here, the attack that Tampa Bay brings to the table, but I want to point your attention to the high press that attacking front brings. So look for Carly Jamona to get in on the attack. She likes to play a little defensive as well in that midfield position, but Tampa Bay likes to disrupt back lines. They press high, they win the ball, and then look to convert quickly on their offensive attack.
Sydney Snyder gets another nod in goal. The Jamaican international continues to impress since arriving midway through the season. For interim head coach Phil Nana, DC Power's side looks this way.
Yeah, and it's been fun just to see the different formations that Nana has used. I know we talked about the flow state, which we'll get into as the game goes along, but really focusing on possession. They like to build from the back, look for Susanna Fitch and Anna Bagley to get in on the attack as well going forward. Those outside channels will be very busy for both of these squads, so it'll be interesting to figure out which team can establish their dominance early at this matchup.
Well, there was big news coming out of the Tampa Bay camp that included the retirement of Erica Timrak. She will be honored at half-time here on Peacock as we get a look at the incredible fans. There is Erica Timrak, which she has done a lot for the beautiful game during her career. She will be honored, and rightly so, today. Jessica Charman alongside former Division I soccer player Haley Sutton getting ready for kickoff here in Tampa. It'll be the Tampa Bay Sun in the navy jerseys from left to right. DC Power in the ombre white to blue from right to left. We are underway. Our referee Jacqueline Metz has blown the whistle. We're so delighted you're joining us here on Peacock for USL Super League. What a season it has been. DC Power, of course, have one more game left. They will play Lexington, this Tampa Bay Sun final game of the regular season. And Haley, for the Tampa Bay Sun, it has been a very strong season, but they will certainly want hosting rights.
Listen, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, right? And I know that's so cliche as we see a ball go into the box here. Tampa Bay trying to establish dominance early. You don't want to look too far ahead, but we do know the playoffs are right around the corner. So for Tampa Bay to send their fans off with a victory here at Riverfront Stadium would certainly be, you know, a special moment, but also, too, to set the tone for the postseason when it does come around. A really important game here for Tampa.
As we know, DC Power are eliminated, but continue to show a lot of fight. They haven't been able to pick up a victory so far against the Tampa Bay Sun. As here they are forced into some defensive duties. The cross comes in, is blocked away and cleared out of play. Thrown all the way into the back line for Bissett. Connecting with Haugen. Haugen, early cross into the box. Cleared. A little bit of a slice for Constant that will set up our first corner kick of the game as we get a look at Denise Schulte-Brown, the head coach of Tampa Bay Sun, said that her side have always struggled against DC Power, wants to change that today. The Baldwin Group is proud presenting partner of the Tampa Bay Sun corner kicks. Protect what's possible. Corner week taken to Narcello. Narcello trying to round the defense of Kurosaki. Narcello. Kurosaki wasn't able to put the tackle in. She does in the end. Going to ground. Jacqueline Metz takes a look. Doesn't blow her whistle though, much to the dismay of the Riverfront Stadium crowd.
And this right side of the field, Jess, early on is already creating a lot of problems for DC. I love the footwork as well from Sid Nacello there, the patience to stay on the ball and serve that ball in. I'd love another look at that. It looked a little penalty kicky to me, but certainly we'll have to leave that up to the imagination.
It's another Baldwin Group corner kick. Bissett, her corner and service following. Not quite what would have been on Denise Schulte-Brown's agenda. Has been all Tampa Bay Sun, though, across the first 3 minutes of play as Victoria Haugen takes this throw in. cleaned up. De Wong back into the back line of Constant. The high pressure that you warned us about, Haley, with Fleur.
And DC will have to be careful with how they pass around the back. It's one thing to control the possession and the tempo, but we talked about that high press. There it is right there. Tampa Bay just swarms in trying to win the ball back. Now it'll be up to DC to maintain their composure defensively.
It was Tash Flint picking the pocket of Wolfbauer. And then a beautiful service over to Haugen. Looking to connect with Jamona and running out of real estate. But that warning has been flashed. Phil Nana told us he's comfortable with his players playing through the pressure, but this time maybe a little too comfortable from Madison Wolfbauer.
Well, and one of the things we talked about as well was Tampa Bay's ability to stay in games for 90 minutes. Over a quarter of their goals have been scored in the final 15 minutes of action for Tampa Bay this season. And to take it a step further as well, when we showed their record earlier, they have 10 draws on the season. And a lot of that comes from the fact that they're able to stay in goals, they're able to find goals as well in the late stages of the game. So not only will Phil Nana's squad have to sort of contend with that high press, but they also have to stay locked in for 90 minutes.
Our access as broadcasters is a privilege, and it's been a privilege to get to know Phil Nana during his time as the interim head coach. Extremely humble in the way that he talked about this role and learning to be a head coach. Certainly seen the rewards of his hard work, and the players truly buying into his game state and ideology on the pitch as well.
And I know it's not like the funnest or sexiest answer, but sometimes the game of soccer just takes a little bit of time to develop. Sometimes when you've got players and they all click and it's really fun to watch, but that chemistry isn't always developed even over one season. Sometimes it takes 2 seasons. Sometimes it takes a full preseason, which is something Nana told us that if given the opportunity, he would love to have a full preseason with these girls. And ultimately, it's the mentality of DC that's been so impressive. It's not easy to come out and lose as many games as they have, and yet this spring, it's their attitude that's kept them in competitions.
Here's Bagley connecting beautifully into De Wong. De Wong driving forwards, hangs up the cross, it's headed clear, still alive. It was Fitch with the strike, and in the end, Schneider comes in to grab the ball bravely. But DC Power on their first attack, electric. Sydney Schneider, the hero.
Yeah, Sydney Schneider will have to get a check on her. Looks like she picked up an injury there, but I love this buildup by DC. I wish there was a little bit more power, a little bit more finesse on the finish there. But you see Susanna Fitch, coming crashing in on that back post. We're used to seeing her in that wing-back role, getting in on the attack. Going to be dangerous all game long. And Sydney Schneider clearly in some kind of pain. It almost looked like she took the boot of one of the DC players into her stomach, but not feeling good at the moment.
Yeah, real concerns for the starting goalkeeper today, Sydney Schneider. Do have an experienced goalkeeper in net, of course, with Ashley Orcus, who played in 18 Super League games, as concerned fans looking on. We did talk to Denise Schulte-Brown about Sydney Schneider, the 25-year-old, and her arrival to the Tampa Bay Sun. This is her 6th game for the USL Super League club, and she told us that she's been such an asset to this team, very good with the ball at her feet as well. And Haley, just as we see Denise Schulte-Brown conversing with her players, any sort of change to the back line this early would be a concern. Denise Schulte-Brown obviously hoping that her goalkeeper will be okay to continue.
And thinking about the way Tampa Bay has started this game, they've been so locked in through the first 6 minutes or so. To your point, it would certainly be a game change there if your goalkeeper can't go. But one of the things you did mention is Ashley Orcus. If she is inserted into this matchup, she is an experienced goalkeeper. She played much of the spring slate as well, or excuse me, the fall slate. So not quite a drop off when it comes to the experience level, but to Schneider's point there, when we're talking about just what she brings to the table, you know, she's got a great attitude, so she sticks with plays when it's happening. She's capable of short-term memory as well, is something that Denise Schulte-Brown told us. So keeping our eye on her as she's getting attended to by the medical staff.
And from the shots that we were able to see of Sydney Schneider, it does look like she is in a lot of pain in the end, flexing at the elbow. And it will be Ashley Orcus getting ready, and didn't even see Ashley Orcus get a chance to catch a volley of any sort as well. as we see her having words with her head coach. Early substitution. We'll be sending our best wishes to Sydney Snyder. Ashley Orcus will be coming into the game. And Haley, I'll take a little color here as a former goalkeeper. Not an easy position to be in at any shape or form. Your warm-up is different when you're the backup goalie. You don't get the same repetitions. And now after sitting down on the bench preparing to be a passenger in the game, now you have to go on, raring to go. And we haven't seen her touch a ball.
Well, and it's interesting, too, I think, to play devil's advocate on the other side here. We've seen Ashley Orcus in this position before when Kayla Marquise was the starting goalkeeper, and Orcus kind of took a backseat to Marquise, and then Marquise picked up the injury again. And so, while, yes, it is interesting, it's going to be interesting to see how quickly she can settle into this match, especially when we just saw DC on the attack just a few minutes ago. But if you're Denise Schulte-Brown and the rest of that Tampa Bay backline, you take solace in the fact that this is a position that Orcus has faced even in this inaugural season, and she's capable. She's come up with some great saves, a couple of Team of the Month awards as well for her, too. So she's a capable goalkeeper.
So it's the 3-time SEC Goalkeeper of the Year from Ole Miss coming in to the net. Ashley Orcus, Sydney Snyder exiting the game, and a brave interception from the goalkeeper. Sacrificed her body literally to preserve the clean sheet. We'll see how Tampa Bay Sun is able to adjust now with that early adversity.
And something to pay attention to as well. I know it's still early, so I'm not expecting too many tactical change from Schulte-Brown's side just yet. But as we get closer to halftime, maybe if DC starts ramping up their attack, I'm wondering if we could see some substitutions on the outside. I know we see Nacello and Haugen there playing that sort of outside midfielder role, but maybe some defensive help popping in the second half, just depending on how the game goes.
So as we approach the 10-minute mark, plenty of action and drama has already been had from Riverfront Stadium in Tampa, but still scoreless. Listro picked up the first red card in USL Super League history. It is a record now that she's able to joke about, particularly since her Tampa Bay Sun were able to pick up a result. Through ball, threaded, Fleur will chase. Fleur, driven cross, stings the hands of the goalkeeper. It was Aquino going to ground, able to get enough on it.
Big save from Aquino as well. We spotlighted Cecilia Fleur earlier in this program for that exact reason. She's just so dangerous with how quickly she can change the pace and deliver a dangerous ball into the box. No one for Tampa Bay crashing on that play, so hopefully an adjustment there for them as they settle into the match.
Fleur, who played at the prestigious Montverde Academy, is a Danish international, you mentioned, has been a real candidate for Player of the Year this inaugural Super League campaign. A strike from distance goes wide. Will end up being a deep defensive throw-in for DC Power. Across comes shot.
I believe that was Tosh Flint on the attack there. I'll allow it only because, Jess, we have seen some incredible goals from distance with Tosh Flint this season.
She has scored some bangers, as we say. And Tosh Flint has scored 6 of her 9 goals at home. She loves a fan celebration. Loza Ribera, couple of step overs. Square pass inside, and some give and go to find Fitch. Fitch cuts it to the penalty spot. And in the end, Ashley Orcus able to make her first comfortable save. But DC Power with a strike on frame.
And good on Ashley Orcus to get that first save out of the way there. You see, it wasn't really that threatening of a finish in the end, but still keeping her head on a swivel, able to make the save. But look at the buildup from DC Power. It's a perfectly weighted ball in from Fitch, and unfortunate there that they weren't able to capitalize. But good promise from DC, and this is kind of what we've seen from them in the spring with the change to Phil Nana and the team playing inspired behind him. There's these little moments of brilliance from DC that makes their opposition always have to prepare and pay attention to how they play.
Here comes Jade Moore. To Flint, back to Moore. Moore across towards the back post, it's deep, headed down to Fleur, who strikes wide of the mark. And it's deflected out for another corner kick. The Baldwin Group is a proud presenting partner of the Tampa Bay Sun corner kicks. Protect what's possible. That's 3 corners now for Tampa Bay Sun. We've certainly spent a lot of time in the attacking third. Page and Nacello combining. To the top of the box, hung in the air by Bissett. It's easily cleared away. Here come DC Power through Colton. Couldn't get on the end of it. And another corner kick that again, Denise Schulte-Brown has the high expectations. She'll be slightly disappointed with. Here's Flint, driving forwards, confidently winding through traffic. Flint with a beautiful reverse pass. What a ball to Fleur. And her vision is just exceptional.
I was hoping that she would thread the needle on that pass. One of my favorite things about watching Tosh Flint play is watching the wheels turn in her head as she's on the ball. We can see her dribble, but it's those small passes like we just saw that really make her dangerous as an attacker.
Jacqueline Metz blew the whistle against Gianna Gurley. A little overzealous in her challenge on Jade Moore as we get another look.
Gurley just comes right through Jade Moore there. Sometimes, you know, you just catch the other player's boot right on your foot. It's not a lot of contact, but it does feel painful. You can see Jade Moore there sort of working through it.
Jade Moore, the veteran, 34 years of age, 49 caps for the Lionesses, the English national team, as we get a look at the fans again at the Riverfront Stadium. Heard a lot about this fan base from Denise Schulte-Brown and how much her side really, truly values their 12th player. They have a supporters group called the Heat Wave who have done so much in terms of the activations for this fan base. Denise Schulte-Brown wanted to make sure that they got mentioned because without the fans, they are nothing.
And I think Tampa has really leaned into this team becoming a staple in the city. I mean, you talk about the iconic boat ride into the city when it comes to their processional and coming in on game days, the flyover like we saw earlier today. I feel like they've really embraced the city, and as a result, the city has embraced them back. And so when you talk about building a culture and building a legacy, Tampa Bay's done a really good job of making these games and these players accessible to the community. I know the last time you and I did a game, I was telling you about how at the Tampa Bay airport, there's Tampa Bay Sun gear out at the airport. So it just goes to show you that if you give fans a product to love, they will love it back like we're seeing here.
Inspiring the next generation of Tampa Bay Sun soccer players. That's what it's about. Who knows? Maybe we'll be saying their names on a broadcast one day as well. Glad to see they're wearing hats because it's 87 degrees. It's a toasty, toasty day in Tampa. Expecting to see hydration breaks as well. As we will restart the play now. The Jade Moore back on her feet. It'll start with a free kick. And when you've got players that can bang a ball into the box, like Tampa Bay Sun do, including Viv Bissett. It is Bissett, of course, standing over the ball. Denise Schulte-Brown said that she's an unsung hero with the sorts of services she can put into the box. Let's see what she whips up here. Bissett. It's a long, direct ball headed back by Hendricks. Moore takes a strike. Moore again in the box. And from an impossible angle, almost turned it probable.
Well, you think Jade Moore is feeling better after that contact that she just took in that foul? I mean, it's a perfect ball sent in by Viv Bissett. And you said it, an impossible angle, and yet Jade Moore makes it look doable here. You see it just sneaks past that back post, but inches away from
and a high
finding the back of
turnover,
net.
a strike from distance. And just like that, Jamona almost able to capitalize on a poor giveaway out the back by DC Power. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, DC Power might need to adjust.
Well, it's that high press. Again, we're going to be talking about it quite a bit as this match goes on. Tampa Bay disrupting DC on the goal kick there, inches away from finding the game's first goal.
Jacqueline Metz just having a stern word now, as we are hearing in Fort Lauderdale. It's still scoreless in that all-important matchup with Dallas Trinity. So long ball forward is flicked further forward towards Kurosaki, wasn't able to control. As Haugen, the target of that delivery, wasn't able to keep it in play. Bagley to Kurosaki. Kurosaki takes a bit of a knock, physical contact coming in. Play on, says Jacqueline Metz. Dinked ball over the top, controlled by Haugen. Beautifully done, and an even better ball forward. Fleur has Claire Constant defending her. Fleur into the box. Low driven cross, beautiful service, and it's over the crossbar by Nasello.
Oh, Sid Nasello, if only you would have hit that first time. Easier said than done, obviously, in the run of play. But boy, Jess, the right side of this field for Tampa Bay is really connecting. You had that combination play out wide, and then Fleur doing what she does best in open space, just maintaining that possession, waiting for the final minute to deliver that driven ball. And Sid was right there. You could see it even as she goes to ground there after the shot.
Give credit to Susanna Fitch for stepping, but another giveaway out the back. Nasello looking for a second opportunity now to make up. Ended up driving her cross into the body of Claire Constant. Loza Ribera connecting far side with Colton. And this is beautiful possession from DC Power. And then a poor giveaway by Ribera. There are moments though that DC Power just click with the ball. Bissett gets it back. Viv Bissett for the pass into Jamona. In the end, Claire Constant with an important slide away. Bissett, low pass to the top of the box. Colton sends it away from danger. Jordan Listro controls. Listro, one of Denise Schulte-Brown's unsung heroes on this squad, said that she's able to adjust to whoever she's playing with, puts in so many good challenges, just a calm, composed leader on the pitch as well, an asset to this Tampa Bay Sun side.
And one of the things she also mentioned was the sacrifice element of Jordan Listro's game. And a lot of times, you know, when we look at defenders, we don't give them the credit they necessarily deserve because there's not really statistics that, you know, elevate what they do. You can track tackles and duels and all the things, but she kind of does a lot of the hard work that we don't talk about that doesn't get shown in games. And so, to your point, an unsung hero.
Nasello! Wow! Absolutely unbelievable. From something, it's impossible. Sydney Nasello says, absolutely I can.
Well, she was just a few minutes from that miss inside the box, and so she said, whatever, let me make it better. Look at this move here. She cuts inside through two defenders, gets the lucky bounce, and sticks to her feet, but then it's the finish, Jess. It's powerful, it's high, it's just out of reach for Morgan Aquino in the net, and this angle will give you a really good look at just the power that she puts on that shot. Nothing Morgan Aquino could have done in that moment. And it's almost like we completely forgot about that opportunity in the box from just a few minutes ago.
And it's another dime of a delivery as well by Viv Bissett, sending the long ball forward. Nasello, an absolutely golden finish out of nowhere. Tampa Bay Sun starting the party at home. And it's so interesting because Denise Schulte-Brown said that her side has often played their best soccer when they find themselves going behind, responding to adversity. They put their best foot forward in their final regular season match of the season.
And it's certainly a positive sign as well for Schulte Brown's squad. It sounds nice when you are the team that can come from behind and find results, and I think that's important. But I also think it's important that at this stage of the season to find ways to get out ahead early. They've really been the more dominating side on offense in this first half, just about halfway through. And so good on them to find ways to get ahead of the competition. Now what's DC going to do to respond?
Kurosaki recovering. Colton onto the end of the ball. Connecting, is cleared away. DC Power quickest to respond. Fitch plays it wide. Kept in play. DC Power with a wayward pass. Narcello, one-time ball for Fleur to chase. Wolfbauer comes across. Well adjusted by Madison Wolfbauer, a leader in the back line. It's out of play. Enter the Prinks Tires Tailgate Kit sweepstakes for a chance to win a prize pack worth up to $3,000. Scan the QR code on the screen to enter today.
That was a great step by Madison Wolfbauer. Another one of those moments where it won't necessarily get the recognition that it deserves, but her stepping in and intercepting that big ball over from Tampa Bay. So we see another injury.
It's Victoria Haugen, friendly known as Dory. She's been an incredible player. Denise Schulte Brown did not have enough positive words to say about the Norwegian international, a 4-year starter at Virginia Tech. And Denise Schulte Brown just wondering whether she's going to have to make another addition from the bench. Victoria Haugen getting seen to by the athletic training staff now. As Haugen is now back up to her feet under her own power. Good to see Sid Snyder back now, getting her arm, hand checked out. I'll tell you something, Haley, as a goalkeeper, my fingers don't look normal. And I'm guessing Sydney Schneider's probably don't now either.
I know, that's my ankles, man. It's crazy what this game will do for you and what you give to it. But to your point, good to see her up and standing.
As we do take a hydration break now, let's have a look at our Golden Boot race as things stand. That lady, Cecile Fleur, currently tied for second. Cecilia Fleur with 10 goals. Corbin leading the way with Carolina Ascent, tied with Ali Thornton. Wow, there have been some amazing goal scorers, but Haley, you mentioned in our open, the most impressive thing for me is the fact that Tampa Bay Sun have 3 players in that list in the Golden Boot race.
And it's not just 3 players who are in the conversation. I mean, like, these have been spectacular goals that we've seen. I know that Sid Narcello, not quite up there in terms of the amount, but just the way they are scoring goals and the amount of different players that are doing so, it's really, really difficult to beat a team that has multiple players that can find the back of the net. And so we saw Tosh Flint with an open field opportunity. Cecilia Fleur, excuse me, has had moments in this series alone as well where she's put her stamp on it. So just been really fun to see all the golazos coming through, and hopefully we get some more as this game goes on.
Look, the goals are the most special part about the game, as we know. We've got plenty of postseason awards coming. So we get a look at the fans here that have been treated to a spectacle. We are back underway here from Riverfront Stadium. Jessica Charman alongside former Division I soccer player Haley Sutton. 1-0 the scoreline. It was a golden goal by Sydney Narcello in the 22nd minute. That has us here with a Tampa Bay Sun lead. We are getting news out of Fort Lauderdale that Fort Lauderdale United have taken a 1-0 lead over Dallas Trinity. That means as things stand, if that result was to hold and this result was to hold here, Tampa Bay Sun will get another opportunity to shine in front of their home crowd they would be locked into the number 2 seed. Here comes Fleur looking to add another, an important interception out the back. The slide tackle coming in from Mernin. The Baldwin Group is the proud presenting partner of the Tampa Bay Sun's corner kicks. Protect what's possible.
And you'd like to see Tampa Bay threaten on this corner kick. We've seen several opportunities from this side specifically. We've seen them go short. We've seen a ball delivered into the box. But ultimately, you want these corner kicks to be something that you can use to your advantage. So I'd like to see a little bit of creativity here.
It's the same combination of Page and Narcello. Page across towards the chaotic penalty box. It'll be grabbed by Morgan Aquino. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Super League and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Offside flag raised against Loza Abera. Haven't seen enough touches from the Ethiopian national team player Loza Abera. It was interesting, Phil Nana said she's a number 9, can play as a 10. But I think we've seen her most success this season when she's playing higher up the pitch than she is today.
I would agree. I think it's hard for DC today because they just really haven't had the chance to get into a rhythm. A lot of that is because of that high press with Tampa Bay. I think they're going to have to get a little bit more creative in their attack and feed it to those outside channels. The Sun have done such a great job on the right side of the field of building those combination passes and the wide angles. DC has shown that they can do the same thing as this season has gone on, but right now they're just not finding the right combinations.
Susanna Fitch will take the throw-in. Fitch was described as Phil Nana as the embodiment of what it means to be a DC Power FC player. I don't think there's a higher compliment than that.
I believe he called her the Rock. The Rock of that
Fitch
defense.
will have to chase. We'll have to see if she's a rock here. Having to defend. There's Fleur dancing. Taps it back. Narcello combining with Page. Here's Page. Across to the back post. Mernin has to head it away, out for yet another corner kick. And the Baldwin Group is the proud presenting partner of the Tampa Bay Sun corner kicks. Protect what's possible.
Interesting, now we're seeing Tampa Bay utilize the other side of the pitch to do the same thing. Really, these outside channels have been so important for Tampa Bay. And DC is going to have to find a way to get those big clearances out. They can't just keep giving up corner kicks.
Marcelo. This one to Bissett. Bissett, a low bouncing ball, cleared away fairly easily. Bissett again. Loops the cross. Narcello. Left for Page. Page. Cross comes shot. Beautiful ball. And it's headed wide. What a ball in that was by Page. And Cecilia Fleur almost added another goal to that golden boot chase.
Man, how did Cecile Fleur miss this? A brilliant ball delivered on a platter there by Page on the outside. And that's one of those ones as a striker you'd like to have back. Just didn't get enough whip on her neck there to direct it past Aquino in net. But Tampa Bay continues to knock on the door, asking questions of this DC defense.
Well, the last time we saw a Tampa Bay Sun player have a chance they wanted back, they were able to capitalize almost immediately after from an even more difficult chance. Sina Narcello, obviously, with that golden opportunity right before she was able to get the game's only goal in the 22nd minute. Perhaps Cecilia Fleur looking to foreshadow what's to come in front of goal for the Danish international. Fleur just ran out of pitch on that far side as we see the riverboat in the background. Such a beautiful stadium here, Riverfront Stadium. Just one of those beautiful venues where it must be such a privilege to play on that field.
And it's very unique, right? So when people think of Tampa Bay and they think of Riverfront Stadium, it's very memorable because of the boat, because of the way it's sort of situated right there on the river too. It's very inviting, and it's nice to see that environment, you know, it bleeds into the culture and you've got pride.
Phil Nana obviously not too happy with how this game is going. Kurosaki is out of the game. Carly Friles will come in to the game. Eva Kurosaki, 27-year-old, exits Carly Friles, the Philippine international, into the game now. So big decision from interim head coach Phil Nana. We have mentioned that DC Power just haven't been able to get a footing into the game. Carly Friles, who arrived from VCU midway through the season, has been very good in a lot of games as this ball searched. Aquino misses it in the air. In the end, she's awarded a free kick. But Morgan Aquino, the Australian, with some shaky decision there. She's bailed out by the whistle of Jacqueline Metz.
G to the G.
Carly Friles has 16 caps with the Philippine national team, including in the 2023 World Cup. This is her 9th appearance for DC Power. Here's Flint. The execution she would have liked, as Constant gives it straight back to Flint for a second try. Flint being hustled by Loza Abera. Good work rate from the Ethiopian. Further forward to Gawley. Gawley spreads wide. Here comes Fitch, putting in her miles. Susanna Fitch taps to Colton. Colton! It's cleared away now.
Good build-up by DC, though. That's kind of what we're talking about when we say that DC has the pieces to disrupt a team. I really enjoyed Emily Colton's follow-up run there on the outside. She was the one that delivered that ball in for DC.
Top of the box, Loza Abera got it stuck under her boot, is able to recycle. Strike goes wide.
Kudos to Phil Nana. I know we haven't really seen Friles be an impact just yet, but sometimes bringing on an early substitution sort of jump starts the rest of the players on the field. I can remember thinking back to when I played in college and knowing that you're going to get substituted out. It sort of changes your mindset a little bit. And not to say that Kurosaki was expecting to get pulled in the first half, but sort of puts everyone for DC on alert there. If you're not doing what Phil Nana wants you to do, you can get subbed out at any point of this game.
One of those players, it looks like they've had a fire lit underneath them, is Emily Colton, the 21-year-old. So we're involved in both of those promising attacks just moments ago.
Colton's a sneaky good player, man. I have loved, I should say, just watching her development as this season goes on. She's got a surprisingly big foot. And so a lot of times when you see those crosses coming in from her, it almost surprises you because of how she likes to play a little bit inside. But she does have a tendency to float out wide and stretch the field for DC.
Long ball, cleared away, controlled by Bagley. To Loza Abera, big tackle coming in from Listro. Those are those selfless challenges that Jordan Listro loves to put in. Up in the air, Constant in a race. Mernin slices that one up. Fleur just hanging around, lingering, waiting for the ball to drop. It does. Back to Haugen, into the boots of Mernin. Fleur again, and Mernin with the deflection, out for yet another corner kick. The Baldwin Group is the proud presenting partner of the Tampa Bay Sun Corner Kicks. Protect what's possible.
An underrated moment of that build-up with Cecilia Fleur was her ability to identify the trailing run of Haugen coming in there on the backside. She held on to the ball for quite a bit of time there, battling with the DC defender. And at the last moment, you see her pick her head up, identifying that Haugen's coming in. And I know it wasn't the finish that Haugen wanted there on the connection, but smart moment from Fleur.
Marcelo went to ground, earns a free kick. A little overzealous in the challenge. Is that early substitution, Friles? And her first real play on the game is to commit a free kick. Jacqueline Metz making sure it's spotted exactly where the foul was committed. Paige will have to take this one just a couple steps back. There's cries of "you can't do that." The heat wave certainly being made to be heard behind the net. Paige and Marcelo, a familiar combination, stand over the dead ball. Paige, cross towards the front post, cleared away. Reset, Marcelo to Paige. Page. Another cross is hung in. Aquino goes with the punch. Friles clears it further afield.
DC continues to weather this offensive storm by Tampa Bay. They have just been so dominant on those outside channels. The combination between Page and Nasello on the set pieces, the attacking trio up top, peppering Aquino with shots. And DC has withstood most of it. Only one goal conceded to this point. But as I mentioned earlier, at some point that offensive system is going to have to kick in. Otherwise, it could get kind of ugly for Phil Nana's side going into the second.
What's interesting is Tampa Bay Sun have had 7 shots, only 1 on target. That's the goal. Denise Schulte-Brown would like to make sure they don't allow DC Power to linger around. They want to make sure they put the game beyond their opponent. Bissett clips in another long ball. Bistro was the target. It's cleared out of play for a deep attacking throw for the Sun. Marcelo, ball in hands. Haugen into the box. Haugen, little toe poke. Wolfbauer one time clears it away to Gorley. Gorley, hold up play is fine, draws the contact off of Jade Moore.
Gorley just hasn't been able to get that ball to her feet in this game. You see how far she had to drop back, not only to be helpful on the defensive end, but she's having to drop all the way back past midfield just to get her foot and get some touches on this game.
It's an aggressive run forward by the centre-back Wolfbauer. Colton finding a way through plenty of Tampa Bay Sun bodies, goes for goal, doesn't miss by too much. Every Wednesday, listen to USL Super League Game Week, a deep dive into all things Super League with hosts Marion Crowder and Anna Whitty. Follow along all season long on the SiriusXM app.
And that's that big foot by Emily Colton I was referring to earlier. Just a couple of quick movements to create some separation for her. And look, they gave her a lot of space at the top of the box, so why not take a chance? She didn't miss by much, to your point.
Giveaway from Tampa Bay Sun is capitalized on by DC Power. Gorley can't settle the touch. Fitch tried to commit. Flint was able to get there first. Hendricks to Haugen. Shaky moment for Tampa Bay Sun as DC Power try and give them a taste of their own medicine.
It's unfortunate that Gorley, was not able to corral that ball inside the box. Just one touch better and a turn, she would have been in.
Fleur. Now Cello crosses it in. Wolfbauer and Aquino not quite on the same page, but Wolfbauer is able to slice it clear out for a deep attacking throw again. Tampa Bay Sun trying to pin back DC Power. Gurley, Haugen, Duong touches it away. And Claire Constant will just try and relieve some pressure for DC Power now. Has no options, has to send it long. In the end, the long ball will be easily cleaned up by Brooke Hendricks.
I think the challenge for DC Power right now is almost the formation that they're playing, holding Gianna Gorley as their only high player. They're having a hard time connecting. I know a lot of the time they have spent defending Tampa Bay in that high press as they always win the ball back, but even when they do win the ball back, there's such a disconnect between the defense and the attack. So wondering if there's a way that Phil Nana can maybe change the formation. He talks a lot about the flow state and his players feeling comfortable in the run of play and making sure that everyone, including the coaching staff, is comfortable and at that temperature. But right now the connections just aren't there for DC.
He preferred to describe it as a shape versus a formation because it's fluid. Phil Nana and his flow state. His players have certainly adjusted well under his tenure as the interim head coach, but still, he'll be the first to say plenty of work to be done. But it's just great to see a side like DC Power continue to play for each other, continue to battle, continue to enjoy playing spoiler in big games, despite the fact that they were already eliminated from postseason contention. Bagley with a brave block. Second opportunity to throw this one down the flank. Mernon just sends it forwards. Headed away by Hendricks. Great work by Flint to get back and recover that ball. Page. Spinning 360. Inside to Moore. Moore pressed by Bagley. It's a game of keep away right now as Tampa Bay Sun look to exhaust DC Power's pressure.
It's a great game plan by Tampa Bay right now, just being patient, waiting for those passing channels to open up, taking a page almost from the DC Power book. This is typically how DC likes to play, but for Tampa right now, waiting for that final pass, maybe a big ball over the DC back line.
Haugen and Bissett. Good pressure out the back by DC Power to force Tampa Bay Sun deeper into their defensive territory with the throw-in. There's Haugen. As we get a look at our statistics for nearly the end of this first half, you can see fairly even. DC Power actually shading in terms of shots on target. How important does that Sydney Snyder save turn out to be? Snyder, of course, subbed out with the injury after making an impressive save at 0-0 earlier on in the match.
And something I will add to this conversation, Jess, the last time I was on the call for a DC Power game, one of the things that Phil Nana told us was he wanted his team to be out on the front foot. A lot of the season in the spring, or in the fall, they spent on the back foot. I'll finish this thought in a moment as Tampa Bay's building.
Here's Fleur. Nice little nutmeg by Fleur. She gets into the box. Brave defending by Bagley to draw the foul. Smartly done by Anna Bagley.
Going back to that point, though, Jess, when we look at how DC is playing, Phil Nana talked about how during that transition phase, DC was playing games to not lose as opposed to going out and trying to win a game. Now when you look at them playing confidently, I know the score doesn't reflect that so far through this first half, but they've had those moments. You brought up the Sydney Snyder save. We've seen moments where they've built and had Susanna Fitch sort of get up in on the attack. So it's interesting, too, just to see the mentality change play out and how game by game they've sort of leaned in and built that confidence.
Rosa Ibarra went to ground as she tried to dispossess Haugen. You saw a bit of frustration out of Haugen there. Felt like she should have had some movement ahead of her. Had to start back with Hendricks instead. Page skips through the challenge. Great footwork from Page on that left-hand flank. Flint gets it to Moore, fellow countrywoman. Trying to keep that one in. Tampa Bay Sun couldn't do so. DC Power will have a throw in. It's taken quick to Colton. Great sense of urgency from DC Power. Trying to make sure that they can get an equalizer in these 7 additional minutes. Of course, that added time due to a couple of injuries and our hydration break due to the 87-degree day that we have in Tampa. Switches picked up out the back. Charging run forward. And Bagley comes away with it. Anna Bagley. Great ball to Rosa Ibarra, who's drifted wide. Ibarra with the cross. Oh, it wasn't too far away from Gianna Gorley.
And she did everything right except for on the finish. It's a great run out wide by Rosa Ibarra as she sort of stretches the field. And I want you to keep your eye on Gorley as she's making this run as well. You see she starts to make the run outside but sees that Rosa Ibarra is already there. So she actually recycles her run to get in on the attack. Unfortunately, it was just a little too early. That ball was delivered behind her, so she wasn't able to get the contact on it. But that's what makes Gianna Gorley dangerous. She's been this team's leading scorer because she puts herself in situations like that.
It's another shot on target for DC Power. They certainly aren't dropping their heads in this game. As Narcello continues to be vicious. Forward to Page. couple of step overs. And it is halftime in Fort Lauderdale right now as a yellow card awarded to Madison Wolfbauer for that challenge. It's 1-0 to Fort Lauderdale United over Dallas Trinity. Again, if these results stand, Tampa Bay Sun will have confirmation that they will be hosting. Get another look at the challenge that has led to the first yellow card of today's game.
We know Madison Wolfbauer to be a physical defender. Not sure I saw too much on there that was worth a yellow card, but the referee obviously had the better look than we did. It might just have been another one of those incidental contacts like we saw earlier with Jade Moore involved, where the cleat just makes contact in certain situations.
It will set up a very dangerous set piece opportunity. In-swinging option and out-swinging option. They'll go in-swinging towards the front post. It's cleared away. Bissett on the back. Be picked up in the end. Morgan Aquino just extinguishing that pressure. She'll bowl it out to Bagley. Inside to Mernon. And Duong. Colton. Dips this ball wide, just didn't have the legs to get there. The ideas always seem there for DC Power, the execution just a fraction off.
And that's always the storyline with DC, right? You have to respect them because they have these moments that can turn a game on its head. You keep mentioning the shots on target. When they are getting opportunities, they're dangerous opportunities. It's just that final execution that they're missing. And I know we talked a little bit about Phil Nana and the situation that he's facing, being the interim coach, trying to implement your ideas while also building the confidence of the team. It's just all stuff that takes time, and unfortunately DC just doesn't have much of that left.
Here comes DC down that right-hand side through Frilles. Tampa Bay trying to play out of pressure. They have their pocket picked. Colton drops it back. Duong distributes, little chip forward into the pathway of a bearer. Last-ditch tackle. Well done out the back. It's Page with a vital stop.
It was a great attack, but even better defending, to your point, by Page on that Tampa Bay back line. Loza Ibarra times her run in, but just can't figure out the formula to breaking through Tampa Bay's defense.
It'll be Duong to take the first corner kick for DC Power of this game. Asking for runners, very vocal, Duong, in where she wants this ball and the runners to go. Okay to Duong. Services cross in, a beautiful delivery. Wolfbauer can only head it up vertically. Claire Constant will keep it in play. Constant being hustled from behind by Listro. Wolfbauer breaks through the challenge. Libera, and in the end, Gawley just doesn't have a good run on it.
Been nice to see Ashley Orcus settle into this game. I know that was something that both of us were looking for, or watching for, I should say, when this game started. And she's been asked to make a few challenges. She's been gifted a few since DC. That final touch just hasn't been there to this point. But good to see her settling back into this role as the keeper for Tampa Bay.
She'll take her goal kick. Gawley is able to head it back. A bit of a miss swing by Brooke Hendricks. Hendricks able to recover. As Gawley trying to pressure, loses her balance. Mernon into Duong. All the way into the back line, and the whistle will blow. That's half time here from Riverfront Stadium. Hayley Sutton, your thoughts on the first 45?
I think this has just been very impressive by Tampa Bay. It certainly feels like they were trying to earn that home field advantage, and they've done everything right. I've been particularly impressed with what they've been able to do on those outside channels. Sid Nasello, of course, finds the back of the net I've almost been more impressed with her involvement in those outside channels, connecting the offense to the defense and sort of setting up those plays too. But man, that goal was special.
The crowd certainly enjoying their final regular season match of the inaugural USL Super League season. Of course, a reminder that if Tampa Bay Sun can pick up 3 points and Fort Lauderdale United are able to defeat Dallas Trinity, that will lead to a hosting opportunity as Tampa Bay Sun will clinch the number 2 seed. It would be Carolina Ascent, obviously winning the Players' Shield for the number 1 seed, and Tampa Bay Sun, as things stand, would host in the number 2 position. We're now joined by the difference maker on the score sheet in that first 45 minutes of action, Sid Nasello. Sydney, congratulations on your goal. What was going through your mind as you got ready to wind up that strike?
I just saw we had so many chances in that first 10-15 minutes, and one of them was bound to fall, so I just found myself in a position inside the box and I just ripped it.
And it was an impressive rip as well there. We're getting another look at it here, an impossible angle. But Sid, it seems like your team has had a lot of success on those outside channels. What are you seeing out wide that's allowing you to connect with your teammates, and how do you keep it going in the second?
I think we're just doing a good job of shifting them over to one side of the field and then finding that center point to change the point of attack. And we're doing it at a quick pace, so they're not able to shift quick enough, and that's giving us 1v1 opportunities in the wide channels, and we're getting a lot of chances off of it.
Well, Sydney Nasello, thank you so much for your time. Go enjoy your halftime break. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
That was Sydney Nasello. It is her 22nd minute goal. The difference between the two sides as things stand at half-time. We've got so much half-time action to get into you after this quick break. But it's the Tampa Bay Sun 1, DC Power 0. Stick with us here on Peacock.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
What launches this ball and finds the winner. Oh, what a play! It's a bending effort.
Caitlin Clark, amazing at assists. Gamebridge, the ultimate assist for your savings. But ever since they teamed up, she's taken assisting to a whole new level. Caitlin Clark, graded assists. Gamebridge, graded assists for your savings.
Make this spring the season of you with a bedroom refresh from Ashley. Discover our latest styles starting at $499.99 to transform your bedroom into a serene retreat you'll never want to leave. And get 0% interest for 60 months when you buy in store. Plus, renew your sleep with a new mattress. Introducing the all-new Sealy Posturepedic collection starting at $799, featuring precision fit coils arranged right where you need them for targeted support night after night. Only at Ashley.
Once again, Tampa General is named the #1 hospital in Tampa Bay and one of the nation's best. This year in cancer care, diabetes and endocrinology, ear, nose, and throat, gastroenterology and GI surgery, heart and vascular care, obstetrics and gynecology, orthopedic surgery, and urology. Tampa General. Other hospitals practice medicine. We define it.
Welcome back to Riverfront Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Tampa Bay Sun with the 1-0 lead over DC Power. We're halfway through. Let's take a look at our news and notes. And right now, of course, Carolina Ascent clinch the Players' Shield. They'll be the #1 seed. Tampa Bay Sun not far behind. We'll see if they can clinch the #2 seed and hosting rights at the end of this game. And then the US Youth International call-ups for Celie Strawn and Emma Johnson, a real highlight of what USL Super League plans to do for their youngsters. Speaking of veterans now, news was launched this week that Erica Timrack is retiring from the beautiful game. Jessica Charm and Haley Sutton. Erica Timrack has done so much for the beautiful game through college, NWSL, international, scored a goal for the US Women's National Team. She's a legend of the game, and it's great to have seen her in the Super League.
Well, how appropriate is it as well that in the place where her career started at IMG, she now gets to finish her career with the hometown team in Tampa Bay. Listen, she's a legend. She might not be the first name that jumped off the list when you think of the US Women's National Team, but I thought it was interesting sort of reading about her and learning a little bit more about her career. She talked about how important it was to give back to the next generation. And so when we talk about a league creating visibility for young women, she's been the poster child for it, and it's been fun.
And the perfect picture to end.
Exactly.
The high five, inspiring the next generation, these players and these fans getting a moment to see and dream big. The Tampa Bay Sun has the 1-0 lead over DC Power. We've got more halftime coming up next.
Great work, everybody. Thank you guys, and thanks to John Coffey. Air Force Base Youth Soccer. West Florida Flames U14 ETNLR. Women's Final Four Community Ambassador Volunteer Group. South Tampa Gold. Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital. Showtech. Tico. TGH. The Baldwin Group. Tampa Bay Chamber. And Harvard University Sports Management. All USL Super League matches are streamed exclusively on Peacock, including the playoffs. You're going to want to keep an eye on our Tampa Bay Sun. We'll know tonight if we'll be hosting the semifinal game right here at home. We'll all be streaming on Peacock.
Welcome back to USL Super League on Peacock. Let's take a look at the first 45 minutes of action highlights. And it was DC Power starting brightly through Katie Duong.
This is a great ball played in by DC's playmaker in Duong. And it's a great opportunity early for DC. Unfortunately for Tampa Bay, they lose their starting goalkeeper in Sydney Snyder. Picking up an injury there, you kind of get a little bit of a look at it on the close-up. It was a great save and an important one to keep this one level.
That happened at 0-0, and it wouldn't stay 0-0 for all too long. Check out the footwork of Sydney Narcello here.
Man, this is just a great effort here. Gets a bit of the lucky bounce on the nutmeg, but it's the finish, Jess, that's so impressive. You'll get another look at it here on the closer angle. All power as she powers that one past Aquino in the back of the net. And remember, she missed the opportunity just a few minutes before this one.
I loved hearing her say, I just thought I'd rip it. Well, you certainly ripped that, Sydney Narcello. We'll take a look at the halftime statistics. Even Stevens in terms of the shots. In fact, DC Power, you could say, shading it with the 3 shots on target.
It's been impressive when we have seen DC's moments on offense. They've been few and far in between, but they're putting themselves in really great contention. It's something Denise Schulte-Brown talked about in our pregame meeting earlier this week. You have to keep your head on a swivel when you're playing DC. Can they break through, though? That'll be something to watch in the second half.
Well, the game certainly hasn't been put to bed because we've got a whole second half of action coming here from Riverfront Stadium. Can Tampa Bay Sun hang on, or will DC Power be able to come back? Find out next.
Everybody from the railing right here to where Solange, you guys are quad 2. DJ Sunshine, let's get that second track. Let's see what quad 2's working with. Oh, here we go. All right. We got dancing babies. We got moms and kids. You love to see it. Who's working it? Who's working it? Oh, man, don't fall, baby. Don't fall. Solange working it. Down to the final 10. Who wants the Lady Mary? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So they find your 2 winners, or 3 winners there. All right, you guys here are quad 3. From right here over, you guys are quad 3. Are we ready, quad 3? In 3, 2, 1, Sunshine is. Who wants the Lady Mary picture target? Oh, it's going to be a tough one. Keep your eyes on us, baby. Woo! The ladies are in. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Find your winners over there. And finally, quad 4. Let's see if we waited the best for last. Are we ready, quad 4? All right, let's see what you guys got here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, quad 4 is working. There's going to be a tough one to go in. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So they find your winners. Thanks to our friends at Lady Mary for tonight's tip-off contest. All right, something will be really good.
Well, the vibes are exceptional at Riverfront Stadium, and why wouldn't they be? The Tampa Bay Sun are cruising in a 1-0 lead over DC Power, but we've still got a big 45 minutes ahead, and anything can happen. Jessica Charman alongside former Division 1 soccer player Hayley Sutton. Delighted you're joining us here for USL Super League on Peacock. It is mascot day, so get ready to see plenty of mascots. I'm waiting for my girl Soleil to be on the screen. Tampa Bay Sun have certainly done a lot of things right when it comes to the branding, including, of course, the queen, the mascot, Soleil.
She was slaying at halftime, too. We had the kids versus mascot game at halftime, too, and she was getting in there.
We are back underway from Riverfront Stadium. Tampa Bay Sun in the dark jerseys from right to left. The gradient white to blue kits for DC Power from left to right. Was the 22nd minute goal from Sid Nacello the difference between the two sides? As Jessica Charman and Hayley Sutton, delighted you're here with us. Phil Nana did opt to make one substitution at the halftime break. Amber Diorio coming in to the game. It's Madison Mernon out of the game. Amber Diorio, the Puerto Rican national team player, has played in the Gold Cup for her country. Previously played with Pumas in Mexico. DC Power looking to use that substitute, Amber Diorio, to really electrify their ability to get back into the game. Here's Susanna Fitch. Fitch further forward into Frilez. Frilez's cross blocked by Page. Second opportunity. Frilez lofts this one higher towards Bagley. And Haugen will just use her body to shield that one out of play. Really well done by Haugen.
Already a much more inspiring effort, though, for DC in these opening few minutes. We saw Tampa Bay really dominate the opening 5 minutes of the first half, so good to see DC sort of settling into this match early.
I'm sure Phil Nana was very, very vocal at halftime. As Abera across to Fitch. Fitch has Gurley ahead of her. Fitch goes for goal, it deflects. And in the end, Ashley Orcus will be able to grab off of the hop. We've talked a lot about the fan base here in Tampa, the environment, the energy, the home field advantage. We have got attendance of 5,000 fans at Riverfront Stadium, and you can see why, as Page with a stoppage for being winded. But Hayley, you can just see why Denise Schulte-Brown was so adamant that they would love home field advantage, to get one more chance to play in front of this amazing group of fans.
And this is actually what I was going to call back to, is just seeing the smiles on these kids' faces. It's one thing, you know, for people like us to get to watch the beautiful game of soccer, but the next generation learning how important this game is for both boys and girls, and just seeing the energy that they bring and provide for Tampa Bay on the field. It's just a lot of fun. I want to have the same energy as that girl who was doing the floss dance that we showed as we were coming in. Man, she was bringing it.
I reckon there's probably some videos of you in your childhood breaking out whatever the floss was back in, what, 1998?
I am not a very good dancer. I like to think that I am. I love to do so, but not very good. When I was growing up, it was the heel toe that was very popular. I'm just laughing in my head as our producer. I'm sure she's never heard of the heel toe before.
I was more of the cha-cha slide girl. So
okay, that's a good one too.
Here comes Nacello, sliding through traffic. Wide to Fleur. Fleur heading towards the byline, blocked off of the boots of Madison Wolfbauer and out for a corner kick. The Baldwin Group is the proud presenting partner of the Tampa Bay Sun Corner Kicks. Protect what's possible. We saw 6 corner kicks in the first half. They'll add lucky number 7 here.
And nothing to show for as well from those corner kicks. There were dangerous opportunities. They elected to go short on the majority of them in the first half. Be curious to see if they continue that trend or if they start maybe trying to test Aquino early in the second.
Interesting to see Viv Bissett now stands over this corner. Bissett will launch it towards the edge of the 6. Bagley stood her ground. Susanna Fitch just clears it away a little further. Good to see a mix-up, though, with the long ball.
Yeah, and I like the decision to have Viv Bissett be the one to give the service. You mentioned earlier her big playability and to send balls in on set pieces there, but from the corner, a lot of pace allows Tampa Bay's backside to be able to crash in and provide that support.
Wolfbauer able to shield that one out of play for the throw-in. But the throw-in goes straight back to Tampa Bay. Marcelo backheeled to Page. Page crosses it in towards the edge of the 6. Constant heads it clear. Jamona couldn't find a teammate with the pass. Here comes Loza Abera. Abera goes early with the long ball. Gorley, surrounded by 3, had no chance.
And just hard to see on this angle, but she was looking for Gianna Gorley up high, and the amount of space between Gorley and the rest of the team, I talked about that going into the end of that second. There's just too much separation between the two, and Gorley unfortunately just doesn't have the amount of pace I think it takes to be that high player that's stretching, and she's got no support when she does get the ball. So for DC's midfield, being able to be creative sort of in that going into the attacking third, kind of at half field, is where we've seen that disconnect.
Phil Nana had high words of praise for Gianna Gorley, but also said he has a responsibility to take off some of the pressure that maybe she was feeling as the leading goal scorer for this side. Rosa Vera has taken off some of that pressure with her recent form. It was great to hear Phil Nana talk about the psychological side of the game that sometimes we don't think about.
And it's hard when you are the player that everyone is expecting to score, right? Gianna Gorley came over from Fort Lauderdale and immediately made a name for herself in DC. I think she still has holding on to 5 goals, but she was scoring at such a high clip when she first joined the team that when she wasn't scoring, she kind of took that personally.
Frilez takes a strike over the crossbar. As we have a look at President Amanda Vandervoort on the drums, always willing to participate. That's what the USL Super League is about. El Presidente enjoying the environment, joining the heat wave, bringing the party. And I think that's one of the reasons this league is so successful, because you have a president like Amanda Vandervoort willing to just embrace everything about the Super League.
If you want people to believe in a product, you have to, at the very least, look like you also believe in the product. And that's not to say that Amanda does not, but you can see just from that small moment how much it means to her to be involved in this situation, coming out to Tampa for this final home game.
As the ball strikes the referee, Jacqueline Metz will get play back underway with a uncontested drop ball. DC Power had possession, so it will start back with Wolfbauer. Flint loops the ball forwards. Beautiful ball by Flint. Taken down by Fleur. And Cecilia Fleur just loves scoring. A beautiful ball by Flint is finished with class by Cecilia Fleur.
I love this ball in from Tosh Flint. The awareness that she brings, and she weights this ball perfectly. We've seen Fleur score on certain situations like this in this season. Goes for the nutmeg, a little bit more finesse over the power, doesn't put too much on it, and yet picks out her spot and hits the back of the net. Fleur now with 11 goals on the season. We showed that golden boot race earlier. She is quickly ascending and has doubled the lead for her team.
4 of her goals now have come against DC Power. Just seems like she loves getting opportunities against Power FC. Tampa Bay Sun able to double their lead. And for DC Power, you can't help but feel a little bit sorry, because they were growing. They had moments and undone by one single long ball forwards.
Just adds to the frustration for Phil Nana. Just when you start to feel like DC is settling in, it's those small moments and that sort of turn things on its head. So now in a game where you're competing, you've had more shots on target, you've held on to possession, now you're chasing 2 goals as your deficit.
And here they come again. Drop of the shoulder from Fleur, who takes the strike. Will bounce into the hands of Aquino. She'll try and bowl it out right away with the throw. And it's back to Aquino in net. Constant. Dispossessed. Early strike. Aquino will keep it in bounds. Here's Wolfbauer. Long ball, direct play. Gourley can only head it backwards, but Duong does manage to capitalize. Wide to Constant. Abera. The pass almost finds Colton. It's cleared long. Foot race on. Constant. Pressured by Fleur. Constant, composed as can be, the Haitian international.
And when we talk about those small moments for DC, those are some of the moments that you want to have more from them. You've worked so hard to dispossess Tampa Bay. You're building, your players are connecting, and then it's that final pass, that final shot, whatever it is, the final moment of build-up, and they just can't connect the dots.
Wayward pass, but Diorio has the legs to get there. Diorio. Up into Gourley, who looked to spin, thwarted by a good beset tackle. A long strike. Fizzles wide of the mic. Gianna Gourley just displaying her range with that strike from distance.
It felt almost like a frustration strike as well. Good on her to stick with the play to earn the second ball back. She takes a peek up and sees the keeper just a little bit off there. A bit from distance, but for Gourley, you talked about the mental aspect of it, the frustrations of not being able to find the back of the net. That can weigh on you, especially in matches like this when you have had so many opportunities. So it's good to see that she still has her willingness to try and score at net.
Fitch. Looks like she's been able to force the turnover. Jacqueline Metz, our referee, sees a foul. Stay up to date with the USL Super League. Sign up for the Super newsletter. Get news about your favorite team and stories from around the league delivered directly to your inbox weekly. Sign up at uslsuperleague.com/newsletter. Tampa Bay Sun have been ruthless defensively at home this season. If this result is able to stand in the shutout, it'll be clean sheet number 4 at home. As Fleur able to pressure and force the turnover. Rosa Abera with some really hard work back defensively. Can't question the work rate of this DC Power side as they continue to fight through the middle with Colton. Abera tried the one-touch ball and then goes to ground ahead of Moore, who just stood on the ball and then is taken out by Fleur. Friles. Searching ball, Gourley's able to get it. Gourley dispossessed Haugen with a vital touch away as Gourley was getting ready to wind up the trigger.
Good build-up from DC there. I almost wish they would have switched the point of attack instead. Susanna Fitch was wide open on that right side making a run, but they do earn the corner kick here, so still a lot to be excited about if you're Phil Nana here.
Katie DeWong getting ready to plant the ball, ready for this service. Did see her create some havoc from the corner that DC Power had in the first half of play. Be an in-swinger for DeWong. She'll play it short though. Colton spinning, takes a stumble. Fitch. Deep cross by Fitch towards Gourley, who gets up. And there's a player down, head injury right now as a brave challenge came in on Gourley. It's Tash Flint down on the ground. So we'll get another look at the service coming into play from Fitch.
Oh, yeah, and you could just see the contact there. As Flint goes to clear it, her and Gourley making contact. Initially, I thought it was Orcus who got in on the challenge there on Gianna Gourley, but looks like Tosh Flint and Gourley were the ones that
Well, you can certainly see why Tash Flint's feeling worse for wear. And from the second angle, I wonder if she got a fist from her goalkeeper as well. It looked
that's
like
what
it
I was
might have
gonna
been
say.
a sandwich between all three players. Tash Flint's tough, though. She's from England. We're made tough, Haley.
I was going to say, if anyone can handle the pressure of a little bloody nose, certainly Tash Flint can handle it.
Tash Flint, who most recently played for Celtic, had 11 goals in 14 games with Celtic. Also played at Man City, as we see Denise Schulte-Brown. They don't seem to be too concerned. They probably know what we know about Tash Flint and more, that she is tough as nails.
And here's what I wonder. It's the 61st minute. You're up 2-0 over a DC side that's already been eliminated from postseason play. At this stage, with Fort Lauderdale still up 1-0 over Dallas, you're in the driver's seat in terms of securing that home field advantage. So I'm wondering if there's a point for Denise Schulte-Brown where she's already lost her starting goalkeeper in Sydney Schneider, and hopefully it's nothing too serious. Now you're looking at one of your top goal scorers dealing with a bloody nose in a physical match. Just wondering if she's going to start making some substitutions to protect the players. You don't want to look too far ahead into the playoff cycle here, but don't want to be picking up any late season injuries when you're going into the postseason.
We get a look at Denise Schulte-Brown. Probably didn't have 2 player injuries to add to the list of priorities, of course, but the good news for her is, as we've talked about, her squad is deep. She has the opportunity to make changes where needed. Will be DC Power, though, making a change. Myra Conte coming in to the game. She'll actually replace Anna Bagley. Anna Bagley, a player that Phil Nana, the interim head coach of DC Power, talks extremely highly about the work rate she puts in. But hasn't seen much of the ball today, so switching things out, Myra Conte will come into the game. The former Vanderbilt standout, 2020 SEC tournament MVP during her time with Vanderbilt.
I like the addition of Conte into this matchup as well. She brings a little bit of speed, which is something that DC has been lacking to this point of the match. So hopefully defensively she's able to stay strong, but also kind of help connect that attack I've been talking about between offense and defense.
Here come Tampa Bay Sun, though. It's Haugen on the far side. Her cross is deflected. Quick to come was Aquino. Good aggressive goalkeeping from the Aussie. She'll drop it at the boots of Constant to get things started. Duong, long pass, headed back where it came from. Abera picks it up, though. It's Duong again to Conte, a good little spin to start things up. Myra Conte introducing herself to the game. She went to ground, nothing there. Well, over in a different area of Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, it's Fort Lauderdale United with the 1-0 lead over Dallas Trinity, courtesy of Kiara Locklear. And if these 2 victories stay, if Fort Lauderdale pick up 3 points and Tampa Bay pick up 3 points, Tampa Bay Sun will lock in the 2nd seed, and they will get to host, along with Carolina Ascent, the inaugural playoffs in the USL Super League. Cross swung in. Cleared away, still not clear of danger as Page tries to send it further forward. Wolfbauer with a brave step to Duong. Duong shapes up, and just too tame of a curler into the body of Ashley Orcus in goal.
Not quite enough power there for Katie Duong, but again, you keep seeing those moments for DC where they find ways to at least threaten the goalkeeper. I'm telling you, I know it's a little early to look ahead to the 25-26 season, but I think DC is going to be a problem next year, especially when you think about the way that they've been able to battle through all of the adversity that they've seen to this point. They just never give up. They're a pesky team. They want to find ways to find results, and it hasn't happened in 24, but can happen in 25.
Physical battle. Wolfbauer wins the duel. Here's Nacello. For DC Power, obviously one eye on the 2025-6 campaign as they look to defend here through Page. Page drops it to Nacello. Nacello has the game's first goal as things stand. Nacello into a similar space. Gets back to her feet. Nacello finds a way. Oh, what a save! Morgan Aquino comes flying out of nowhere to thwart Nacello a brace.
I don't know what was better there, Jess. The individual brilliance from Sydney Nacello, both on the ball and on the shot, or the big save there from Morgan Aquino. And Sydney Nacello's just sort of had her way on the left side of the pitch. We've also seen her on the right side in that first half, but look at how much time she's on the ball. For those of you at home, dribbling is a really difficult skill, especially when you're in the run of play, you're in the box, there's a lot of bodies, and yet she zigzags her way across the box, gets a really brilliant strike off as well, forces Aquino to make the save, and it's really great goalkeeping from the DC keeper as well.
Does set up a corner kick. The Baldwin Group is the proud presenting partner of the Tampa Bay Sun corner kicks. Protect what's possible. Nacello stands over with the in-swinging option. It's Page and Nacello. Page to Nacello, short again. Nacello cuts it back to Page. Bissett on the drop. Doesn't find Bissett with the best of passes. There's Nacello again to Page. It's cleared off of the boots of Constant, out for yet another Baldwin Group corner. The Baldwin Group is proud presenting partner of the Tampa Bay Sun corner kicks. Protect what's possible.
You can tell Denise Schulte-Brown is trying to get something going creatively on these corner kicks. We've seen so many combinations on the short play.
And the cross comes in. What a save again! Aquino standing on her head. Another flying save. Tampa Bay Sun continuing to find ways to connect. Is Nacello. More. Back to Nacello. Nacello took a little shove, is able to regain her balance. It's pulled back for the shove. Loza Ibarra penalized. Good no advantage call from Jacqueline Metz, the referee. Tampa Bay Sun have a set piece, and on that set piece, they'll be enabled to make a triple substitution as Morgan Aquino has shown a yellow card for dissent. This game has a little bit of everything, as it will be Gabby Provenzano coming into the game, Parker Goins and Jordan Zaid. Carly Jamona out of the match, along with Page.
Substitution for Tampa Bay. Entering the game, number 3, Gabriela Provenzano. She replaces number 12,
Jade Moore also out of the game, so confirmation leaving the game. Carly Jamona, Jade Moore and Page into the game. Gabby Provenzano, Parker Goins and Jordan Zaid. Denise Schulte-Brown doing what you said would be a good idea and emptying her bench, now knowing that they want to make sure they're giving other players opportunities to display their squad depth.
And I love that that's the point that you made there, Jess. Not only are you giving your starters, your normal players the opportunity to rest, but you're giving other players the opportunity to come in and get a little bit of experience, get their legs, moving again ahead of the playoffs. Again, you never know what to expect, especially in the inaugural season, so you want to have as many players as possible prepared for postseason.
Here comes the free kick. Nacello towards Aquino, and confirmation Aquino did receive that yellow card for dissent. She's able to snuff out the free kick with a good grab. What a game she's having, by the way. Not easy as a goalie to concede too, but a pair of beautiful saves. Will she be called upon again here? There's a free kick awarded, Tampa Bay Sun. That's Jordan Zaid's first moment on the ball. She's fouled by Claire Constant. Set up another free kick to be launched in. Viv Bissett with the golden boot, the golden cleat we might call it, with her service. We'll see what she can cook up here. Viv Bissett, the Canadian Youth International. Bissett. This one is unique to say the least, and I don't think that's what Viv Bissett had planned. But they do draw another free kick. Susanna Fitch a little perturbed by that call.
Fitch a little frustrated because it looked like Fleur was kind of just caught up in the turf there, slipped a little bit. But instead, another opportunity for Tampa Bay, and they elect to go short.
They take it quick to Flint. Flint puts in the ball, headed away by Constant. Emily Colton caught under some pressure. Haugen recycles. And this throw drops all the way back into that CB position on those dead balls. Bissett forward to Zaid. And they'll combine again. Early cross. Wolfbauer is able to find it into the palms of her goalkeeper. Stay informed about all things Super League. Visit USLSuperLeague.com for all the latest information, analysis, and insight into the league. Just under 20 minutes of regulation remaining from Riverfront Stadium. Jessica Charman, Hayley Sutton here with you. Delighted you're joining us for USL Super League on Peacock. A goal in each half for Tampa Bay Sun sees them in control of this match against the already eliminated DC Power FC. And great news for Tampa Bay Sun coming out of Fort Lauderdale is that Fort Lauderdale United continue to hold on to that 1-0 margin that would see Tampa Bay Sun clinch the second seed. Marcelo. Marcelo. Back to Haugen. Haugen chips across, headed clear. It's kept alive by Zaid. Jordan Zaid skips through the challenge. Zaid with those fresh legs, cutting towards the box. Conte goes to ground. Myra Conte draws the foul, smartly done by the sub for DC Power.
I was worried when I heard that whistle that it was going to go against Conte in that situation and instead be a penalty for Tampa Bay. But we did see Tampa initiate that contact for Conte as she went down to ground.
Morgan Aquino will set the ball and get ready to send this one forwards. DC Power have definitely not dropped their heads and found a way out of the game, but it has been hard. They've had to absorb so much pressure from this incredible front line, and they'll have to do so again through Fleur. Inside to Parker Goins. Marcelo. And to Haugen. Fitch with some good defending, double teamed with Colton. Well done by DC Power as Frilez tries to play out of pressure. And Marcelo able to pick the pocket. Sidnacello. And Flint just calms things down.
This has been the tale of the game for DC, where defensively they've been organized for much of the match, and they work so hard to win the ball back when they're not on it. But that high press, especially from the front line at Tampa, has just caused them all kinds of fits. They haven't been able to hold on to the possession the way they like.
Well, Conte was able to draw another free kick. It was Jordan Zaid, the guilty party this time, committing the foul. As Diorio sends this ball forwards. It's won by Duong. Good physical read by Katie Duong. Further forward to Gawley. Gianna Gawley swings in the shot, and Loza Abera trying to connect with the header.
Inches away from a 2-1 game here. Great ball in from Gianna Gawley to send that ball into Loza Abera. She's been clinical over the past few games. Unfortunately, just not able to connect on this one. But I love Gianna Gawley floating out wide, makes a move to send it in, and Abera just doesn't have the chops to get there on that final touch. You did see Susanna Fitch get in on that backside, but she was just a little too far out to be an impact on that play.
There's been quite a few what-if moments for DC Power. Fine margins, a matter of inches away, just almost moments. And you have to wonder if Phil Nana is given the permanent role, if these what-if moments start to become yes moments once he's given, as he mentioned, the full tenure, as we see Jordan Zaid's special trick, the flip florin.
I love that flip throw, and I know a lot of times it isn't as effective as you want it to be, but it is certainly fun to watch it happen every time it does.
You hear oohs and ahs no matter where you are. I saw the Carolina Ascent game, and she tried on the throw-in, and even the Carolina Ascent fans, as loyal as they are to their side, had their jaws drop just a little bit, as Gawley will chase this one into the box. Gawley, early cross to the front post, be corralled in goal by Ashley Orcus. A lovely moment for Ashley Orcus if she's able to find a way to the clean sheet, as she's now having a bit of an issue with cramp. You have to hope, for the sake of Tampa Bay Sun and equal competition, that this may be a little gamesmanship and slowing down the game versus an actual issue.
It is warm, so we do want to emphasize the warmth and the humidity. We talk about that a lot when we talk about the Florida teams in these matches. It certainly does seem a little suspect on the timing there to get a little stretched out. She's all smiles as the athletic training staff comes out to take a look at her. But to your point that you made earlier, coming in as the backup goalkeeper, you are right in saying that her warm-up was a little bit different. So maybe some of that's starting to catch up to her at this stage of the game. Maybe she just thought her team needed a little bit of a rest, so she gets stretched out. Either way, hopefully we'll see her get back on her feet.
There is a very special school of goalkeeping that I've been a part of that is called the managing time in games like this. No accusations for Ashley Orcus. I think it could be a combination of the two. It's 82 degrees right now in Tampa, Florida. 68% humidity. There's Ashley Orcus doing her well-known butterfly stretch and up onto her feet. I do think she'll be okay to continue. She has a slight giggle and earns herself a well-deserved round of applause.
I'm living for these fans today. I'm also living for the amount of Arsenal jerseys that are in the fans stands today.
There's no Reading FC jerseys out there, unfortunately.
We'll have to get a couple out there.
I will say they do have a former Reading FC player on the roster. Jade Moore spent time during her career with Reading FC. Ashley Orcus having some words with Jacqueline Metz, the referee. Back underway. Wouldn't be surprised to see more hefty stoppage time as another player down for Tampa Bay Sun now. Just looks like more issues with the cramp, more issues with the humidity. As why don't we take a look back at Cecilia Fleur's goal in the second half, that the cushion goal really that sort of sunk the sails of this DC Power side, Haley.
And what Denise Schulte-Brown will enjoy about this goal is the team building aspect of it. They were able to build out of the midfield with Tosh Flint, and it was her big ball into a running Cecile Fleur that was able to capitalize. But this ball right here, it's floated, it's weighted, and it drops right into the path of Fleur. And you see on the finish, there's a lot of different ways you could take that finish, right? There wasn't a ton of power, but there was some finesse as she went right through the legs of Morgan Aquino.
Substitution for Tampa Bay. Entering the game, number 7, Erica Timran.
And what a lovely moment this is as Erica Timrak gets an opportunity to step foot on the home field again. As we mentioned in our halftime show, Erica Timrak has announced her retirement at the end of this season. Victoria Haugen replaced in that substitution as we see a breakaway. It's Goins with a strike. Misses wide of the mark. Final 10 minutes of play here. Jessica Charman, Hayley Sutton with you. USL Super League on Peacock. Things will wrap up in the regular season. Next weekend, still 2 spots on the line as the results stay for playoffs. As the cross is put in, Colton clears it away, only as far as Goins. Flint to Zaid. Some good defensive work by DC Power. DeWong will try and calm things down, but instead puts it into the danger area for Diorio to handle. Loza Ribera back to goal, being hustled. Draws the free kick.
DC just can't catch a break. It seems like every moment that they win a battle, they're already up against it with Tampa Bay's high press. You saw it there with the 2 Tampa players closing in on Loza Ribera. She just has no options. There's no second option to drop it back. There's no big ball that she can send forward. They just haven't had success of breaking through that Tampa press.
Phil Nana with a sense of urgency as he gets that ball straight to Myra Conte to take the throw in quickly to Diorio. Diorio resets through Claire Constant and across further to Wolfbauer. Into Colton. Timrak tries to dispossess, is unable to do so. Wolfbauer, under hit pass, tired legs from the centre back. And now the counter attack on Fleur. Pressing Constant to Aquino. And calmly done by the Aussie keeper. Diorio launches the ball. It's intricately flicked forward. Gawley deflects, and just that unfortunate deflection again for DC Power just doesn't seem to be their day today. They're unable to earn the throw-in. Porcenazo takes the throw-in. It's Provenaso inside. Wide to Nacello. Nacello's played on every blade of grass this game, displaying her versatility. Bistro.
See Timrak floating in there, asking for the ball to her feet, trying to get involved here in what will be her final regular season game here at Riverfront Stadium.
Not easy to hang up those boots as Erica Timrak sent that one straight into the back of Listro. There's a great post on the Tampa Bay Sun's social media pages just showing the career of Erica Timrak and how it spanned so many different leagues, so many different competitions, international soccer. She has ticked every box in her career and has now opted to hang up her boots, but wishes to continue to serve the community. As Goins is able to spin through that pressure. Her pass over hit. Constant clears it away ahead of the pressing Zaid. This time Myra Conte able to earn the throw-in.
I did enjoy Denise Schulte-Brown sort of recalling her relationship through the years with Erica Timrak. She talked about how when she was the coach at South Florida, always knew about Timrak out at Florida in Gainesville. Her ability on the ball always caught your attention, but just talked about how warm of a person she is, how technical she is, how dangerous she is. All the things that you want out of a legacy player, out of a veteran player. We just can't say enough good things about what she's done, not only for Tampa Bay, but just for the game in general.
I think that's one of the special things about talking to coaches. And when you ask them about players, so often, rather than talking about the technical side, it's often about the personality. And I think that is the message to players, that being a great technical soccer player is important, but being a better person and coachable is going to be what sets you apart as an elite player.
Phil Nana, similar sentiments when talking about his players. You know, the first thing he always says is, oh, well, she's a great person, or she's a great human, or whatever it is, and then gets into the analysis.
It's just such an important life lesson to just be a good person. And
be a good person.
We see it here displayed on the pitch. As a big switch comes from Tampa Bay. Beautifully taken down, classily done. Marcelo's touch, just absolutely sublime.
She's having fun out there today.
I'd be having fun if I'd scored that goal.
I know. Yeah, it was special. And even the second opportunity that she got here in the second would have been impressive too.
Fleur had the second goal for Tampa Bay Sun. Timrak. Apologetic hand goes up by Gabby Provenzano. Fitch. Great move by Frilez to find Fitch again. Down the channel for Abera. Abera cuts around her defender, back to Fitch. Frilez, and a big slide tackle came in. Jordan Listro making sure we didn't forget about her.
Great save at a good time. DC sort of stalled out. Didn't really have any options to connect. You saw the run come in there from Frilez. But it's a heads-up slide tackle in there by Jordan Listro. Doing that hard work we talked about earlier. We'll give her props, though. She's been so impactful to this Tampa Bay defense today.
Kylie Frilez feeling a little worse for wear. The Philippine national team player, but she did earn her side a corner. Duong will have the duties yet again. Duong serves it in, met the head of Constant, who just couldn't redirect on frame.
Dangerous chance for DC late in this one. Constant, right place, right time. Just that last little head flick, wasn't able to get her head turned.
Fort Lauderdale United, Dallas Trinity into stoppage time. I'm sure there will be some fans closely watching that game, aware of the importance of the victory down in South Florida. Dallas would have to score 2 goals unanswered in order to prevent Tampa Bay Sun earning those hosting rights. This season, Haley, it's just been a roller coaster when you think about how many teams have occupied playoff spots. I mean, who had Spokane Zephyr? Brooklyn was leading into the mid-season break. It has been everything you could have dreamed of as a neutral looking in for the way that this league has been so unpredictable.
It's just meant that every week as well, you have to keep your head on a swivel. I mean, really, other than Carolina, who's been the most consistent team across this league, any given night for any of these teams, and they can find a result. Even Lexington, it has been rough goings for Lexington, but every single match, you can't take your foot off the gas because they'll take advantage. They stay in games. DC Power, another really great example of a team that the results and the table maybe doesn't reflect how hard they play in these matchups. It's just been a lot of fun to see the parity play out.
Goins to Fleur. Fleur into the box. Able to regain her control. Fleur into the hands of Aquino.
There was a moment there where Flo was trying to set up Erica Timrak. Again, Timrak has been holding out her hand, asking for the ball at her feet. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of movement in her run, but she's looking for that final goal.
And here is Timrak onto the ball. Timrak just straight down the throat of Aquino in the end. Definitely feels very purposeful where some of these services are going right now for the Tampa Bay Sun.
And kudos to Timrak. She put herself in a great situation there on that attempt, just made the sneaky run out wide. Maybe could have taken a touch there, but she did recognize DC closing in on the space, just wasn't able to get the contact she wanted.
Fitch has drifted inside. Great splitting pass. Puts her head in a dangerous area. Good work by Susanna Fitch. And then in the end, a slight drag on Jordan Listro. Smartly done by the skipper to draw the foul. What a character Jordan Listro is. Shares the captain duty, leads by example. Such a physical, strong, determined player. Has scored one absolutely world-class goal this season, her first pro goal. As we wind down into stoppage time, DC Power will have one eye on the 2025-6 campaign. They'll kick things off August the 23rd against the new kids on the block, Sporting Jacks. Be interesting to see how that DC Power side looks like next year, but have to think learned a lot of lessons for an inaugural season. Year 2 set to be special, and can't wait to see Sporting Jacks in action in their first season as the Super League expands. Here's Colton. Tired legs from Emily Colton. And Marcelo seems to have the battery on recharge as she continues to sprint. And the result has gone final in Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale United stay alive for the final day of action. They pick up 3 points against Dallas Trinity. And with that result, Tampa Bay Sun, bar a huge turnaround from DC Power in the 5 additional minutes, will get to host the 2025 semi-finals of the inaugural playoffs here in the USL Super League. As we see DC Power making another substitution. Emily Colton mentioned those tired legs. She has put in a shift in the midfield. She'll be replaced by the Ghanaian Jennifer Cujo. Cujo, the veteran, formerly of Gotham FC. As Emily Colton, the youngster, exits the game. Diorio down the channel. Zabera chasing Zaid, or shielded out of play. Well done by Jordan Zaid. Clean sheet now. Prime focus for Tampa Bay Sun as they look to continue a defensive record and build confidence as they prepare for the playoffs.
And if this result does hold, Jess, it will be, you know, nice to see Tampa Bay be able to celebrate on their home field. We saw last week, while Carolina was celebrating that Players' Shield, Tampa Bay tried to celebrate clinching the playoffs, and so giving them that next opportunity today to celebrate the clinching and also home field advantage.
Gawley fizzles it over the crossbar. It has just not been Gianna Gawley's night. The Heatwaves certainly have some banter, don't they?
Just taking in the sounds of their celebratory singing back there behind net.
Marcelo. Friles trying to pressure.
Look at the confidence there by Sid Nacello, dribbling out of the back, trying to play it to her goalkeeper, Ashley Orcus. Orcus looked like she would have preferred that to go forward instead of back to her feet, as it gives DC Power a late throw in.
I think you saw Orcus' body language. She wasn't too happy about that skills check pass. As Cujo, consolation goal for DC Power, would still go a long way for self-belief as they have one last game on the year. They'll face Lexington next weekend. Nacello, well done. She's sensible forward to Fleur. Flint, bit of bloody nose earlier, none the worse for wear, as Flint transitioning up the pitch, thwarted by a good block by DC Power. Abera to a tired Gawley. She was able to spin and she came back from the offside position. And Nacello down on the ground. Gawley will be shown a yellow card. Just looked like a drifting arm from Gawley. Bit of an innocuous challenge. Marcelo will pop up to her feet. We'll get another look here to see where the contact came.
Oh, and there you see it. That trail arm on the backside just catches the face of Sid Nasello there on the ground. Accidental contact, but still anytime you make contact with that face, it could warrant a yellow card.
Jacqueline Metz certainly seems so. It's a long ball launched forward. Fleur will have the legs to keep it in. Fleur cuts it back. Aquino quickest to come gather. Have a look at Gianna Gawley, a frustrating night, you can just see. And the final whistle blows. The Tampa Bay Sun will be hosting a semi-final of the 2025 inaugural USL Super League playoffs. They defeat the DC Power side 2-0. Your thoughts, Haley Sutton?
I thought Tampa Bay was brilliant today. I think they stuck to their game plan of that high press and really got DC out of sorts. DC was never able to settle into this game in their possession. They never really had a chance to build, and that's because Tampa Bay was suffocating. I think you saw two really great goals as well. It's one thing to be scoring, but to score them in the way Tampa Bay is scoring now, home field advantage is certainly so important for a team currently riding a 5-game win streak here at Riverfront Stadium. So a really impressive performance from Denise Schulte-Brown's side today.
Well, the Heat Wave will certainly get their chance to celebrate today, and they'll get a chance to offer home field advantage in the 2025 playoffs. Final score, Tampa Bay 2, DC Power 0. We've got final thoughts coming up next.
The stadium will be dark for the fireworks, so for your safety, we ask that you please stay in your seats. All corner kicks by your Tampa Bay Sun are powered by the Baldwin Group. Tonight, we witness 8 corner kicks. Say praise again to the Baldwin Group for their support of the Tampa Bay Sun. Anyone can win at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tampa. And then we'll turn our attention to the river to watch the fireworks. We'll get those playoff tickets now, scan the QR code. Then we're going to throw up on the screen, but you guys feeling good out here, Sun fans? It's important tonight. History has been made. You guys have been a part of it. And part of that history is celebrating 2 of our remarkable players who will be retiring this evening. The ceremony will be starting in just a few minutes, so sit back and relax and enjoy the show. I can't be alone, but when I know it's really clap your hands, reach out, touching me.
Welcome back to an absolutely buzzing Riverfront Stadium. Tampa Bay Sun have defeated DC Power by 2-0. We're now joined by Tampa Bay Sun FC's head coach Denise Schulte-Brown to chat about that victory. Denise, Congratulations on that victory. I'm not sure if you're aware, but because of the other result, you have clinched a home seed in the playoff. What does it mean to get another chance to shine in front of this incredible fan base?
Yeah, it really is incredible. They've been amazing tonight. It was a sellout crowd. The heat wave, our fan group was in full attendance, and really does give you the energy that you can't ask for more from a fan group like this. They were incredible, really. It was a beautiful night all around.
Denise, when we got to talk to you this week, you talked about your team playing with a fire when they play from behind, but they didn't have to do that today. They got the early goal there and then finished it off in the second. What are you most proud of when you look at the result today?
Honestly, I was talking to the ladies about this. They're so talented. I'm so proud of them as players, but more importantly, the people they are. They really wanted tonight to be an honor for Erica and Jade, and I really believe that they dug deep for both of them. They wanted this victory. They wanted to play another home game, and I'm just a proud coach right now.
Before we let you go, I do want to ask you particularly about Erica Timrak. It seemed like you were trying everything to get her to score a goal here in this final appearance, but just what has she meant to your team as you see her take the field for a final time in the regular season?
I mean, she's a true trailblazer. She has been paving the road for women's soccer since she was a little girl, and it's just what an honor. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, Denise Schulte-Brown, thank you so much for your time. You have been amazing. Go enjoy your celebrations. You deserve it. And we'll see you again. Go dance with Soleil. She's in the background. That is Denise Schulte-Brown, her side with an emphatic 2-0 victory. Let's take a look at the highlights now of the match. And there was a good start for DC Power.
It was a scary moment for Tampa Bay as their goalkeeper, Sydney Schneider, picks up an early injury on that attempt. But DC Power had some moments of brilliance. Unfortunately, though, for Tampa Bay, they were just better, and a lot of their offensive output came from Sydney Nacello. This goal, just brilliant. But the work she does beforehand as well, sticking with the play, gets the lucky bounce to fall, and then just powers through. She told us at halftime that she just wanted to get through it, and she certainly did just that, Jess.
And the second half, they would continue to shine. Tash Flint with a dime piece of a ball to who else but Cecilia Fleur.
I love that ball from Tash Flint, and it's perfectly weighted for Cecilia Fleur getting in on the backside of that. We've seen her in that situation time and time again. Now 11 goals on the season for the goal scorer.
And they would have more opportunities. Sid Nacello, what a game, what a player.
Brimming with confidence today. Holds on to the ball for 5, 6, 7 seconds as she's trying to create some separation, but it's a great save from Morgan Aquino.
Aquino would continue to shine here. Erica Timrak trying to get that wonderful goal. What a moment it would have been, but Morgan Aquino, give her flowers. We'll get a look at our statistics there, and as you can see, it was still very close of a game. DC Power had their moments, but in the end, Tampa Bay's emphatic forward line continuing to be the talking point.
It's tough when you play a good team like Tampa Bay this closely and have nothing to show for it. 14 shots, and the majority of them were really dangerous opportunities. So as we talked about in the matchup, a lot to build on for DC, but Tampa Bay going into the playoffs now clinching that home field advantage as well. They're looking very dangerous at the right time.
We're alluding to that clinching. Let's have a look at the official standings. There you go. Carolina Ascent and Tampa Bay Sun will be our two hosting sides. There's still all to play for. Fort Lauderdale United, Spokane Zephyr, Dallas Trinity will battle it out on the final week of action to find out who they will face. Well, what a night of action it has been in Tampa. We talk about the Super League being about inspiring the next generation, and that is exactly what has occurred. Tampa Bay Sun emphatically 2 goals in the lead. They're able to see out the result 2-0 over DC Power. For myself, Jessica Charman, Haley Sutton, our entire crew, thank you so much for watching USL Super League.
elevate what they do. You can track